Iran just turned Israel's legendary Iron Dome into a $50 billion failure, and Trump accidentally became their personal intelligence officer. In 11 days, Iran pulled off the greatest geopolitical speedrun in modern history, debuffing two superpowers using tactics that would make pro-gamers jealous.
Wait, you're telling me Iran found the cheat code to break Israel's invincible defense system, and somehow got Donald Trump to leak military intel on social media?
That's exactly what happened. Between June 13th and 24th, 2025, Iran showed the world that Israel's defense stats were basically fake, made America's military look like they were playing with lag, and somehow turned Twitter into their early warning system. This is how Iran speedran the most epic geopolitical takedown ever recorded.
Okay, but before we get to the explosions, you have to explain how Trump accidentally became Iran's best friend. Because that sounds impossible.
Walker, picture this. The US military has coordinated precision strikes ready to obliterate Iran's nuclear facilities. This was supposed to be the knockout punch that finished what Israel started. $1 million missiles, perfect targeting, the works.
Sounds like a solid strategy. What could go wrong?
Donald Trump's Twitter addiction. While the military is planning this top-secret operation, Trump is on Truth Social posting stuff like, "Peace is always an option, but only if you answer the call," and "Big things happening soon. Iran knows what they need to do."
Hold up. Are you telling me Trump basically sent Iran a calendar invite for when they were about to get bombed?
Iran's intelligence team be probably like, "Thanks for the heads up, Donald." They cleared out key personnel and equipment, so when the US strikes actually happened, America dropped $1 million bombs on empty parking lots. The memes were instant.
So Trump nerfed his own country's military by being himself on social media? That's actually impressive in the worst possible way.
Someone posted, "Iran should pay Trump a consulting fee for early warning services." Another said, "Trump speedran becoming a double agent without even trying." But here's the bonkers part, this might have actually prevented World War III by giving Iran time to evacuate.
Only in 2025 could tweets accidentally save the Middle East from nuclear war. But wait, if Trump warned Iran about the US attack, what about Israel's attack?
Oh, Israel's attack happened first, and that's where this story gets absolutely wild. So, it's June 13th, 2025. Israel launches Operation Decisive Strike.
Did they seriously name their military operation after a WWE finishing move?
Right? But this wasn't entertainment. Israel sent their F-35s. These are like the legendary skins of fighter jets, straight to Iran's crown jewels. The nuclear facilities at Fordow, Isfahan, and Natanz. These billion-dollar missiles were supposed to end Iran's nuclear program forever.
I am sensing a... But here? Did it work?
Nope. Iran had been preparing for this specific attack for years. They reinforced their facilities, moved critical equipment underground, and basically turned their nuclear sites into the Fort Knox of uranium enrichment. When Israel's missiles hit, Iran was like, "Thanks for the fireworks, but we moved the good stuff to the basement."
So Israel basically used their ultimate ability on an empty building? That's like hitting someone with a max-level spell and seeing immune pop up.
The satellite images came back showing minimal damage, and suddenly Israeli media went from celebrating to panic mode. Netanyahu probably went from practicing his victory speech to wondering how they just wasted their most expensive ammunition on decoy targets.
Iran tanked the hit and didn't even take real damage. That's actually terrifying game design from Iran's perspective.
But Iran wasn't laughing. They were big mad. And when Iran gets mad, they don't write strongly worded letters. They write strongly worded missiles across the sky. And what happened next broke the internet. And Tel Aviv. Iran looks at this attempted assassination of their nuclear program and decides it's time for True Promise 3.
What is this, Marvel? Did Iran just drop the third movie in their revenge franchise?
That's literally what it was, and they went full Michael Bay. Over 150 ballistic missiles and drones, Walker. That's not a military response. That's Iran saying, "You thought we were gonna send a diplomatic note? Nah, we're lighting up your whole grid."
150 missiles? That's like someone griefed your Minecraft house and you responded by nuking their entire server. Where did they even aim all those?
The targets weren't random. Nevatim Air Base, where Israel keeps their fancy F-35s. Tel Aviv, because nothing says we're serious like aiming at the economic capital. and the Southern Defense radars, which is like trying to play Call of Duty with your monitor turned off.
Okay, but the most important question, were people actually making TikToks while getting bombed for real?
Walker, kids in bomb shelters were live streaming on TikTok. I saw a teenager in Tel Aviv with sirens blaring, going, "Yo, this is not the summer content I plan to make." The memes were coming out faster than the missiles. Someone made a compilation set to boss battle music. Another person edited the attack with the Among Us emergency meeting sound. My favorite was, Iran really said, "Here's your DLC content," and dropped 150 missiles like it's a Fortnite update.
Gen Z was memeing their own potential doom? Classic.
But underneath the memes, this was Iran going direct PvP for the first time ever. No more proxy wars through Hezbollah or Hamas. Iran put their name on the missiles. And that's when Israel's legendary defense system was about to get the ultimate stress test. Everyone's watching, right? The whole world has their eyes on Israel's Iron Dome system. This thing has been hyped for years as having a 99% intercept rate. They made it sound like their missiles had aimbot enabled.
So the Iron Dome was that player who claims they never miss, but you've never seen them in a real boss fight?
Reality hit harder than a truck full of Nokia phones. The Iron Dome straight up missed several missiles. Not one or two, several. These weren't tiny rockets from Gaza. These were proper ballistic missiles with actual warheads.
Iran found the glitch in Israel's code? They discovered the invincible defense system was just really good spoof marketing?
The videos were everywhere. Sirens across Tel Aviv, actual explosions, people filming from balconies like they're covering a sports game. One missile reportedly struck just blocks from the Israeli Defense Ministry. That's like landing a headshot on the final boss.
The memes must have been incredible.
Ha ha ha. Someone made a video game health bar for the Iron Dome that kept decreasing with each miss. Another photoshopped it with 404 error, protection not found. But the most viral was this kid in a shelter. Right when an explosion goes off, he looks at the camera and goes, "Well, that's not supposed to happen." The psychological impact was huge. Suddenly, that sense of invincibility just evaporated. Israel's legendary defense system was exposed as expensive technology that could fail.
So Iran successfully debuffed Israel's main defensive ability, and everyone could see it?
And the whole world was watching it happen in real time on social media, but Iran wasn't done. They had one more combo attack that barely made the news. While everyone watched the main boss fight, Iran was quietly hitting US assets in the Gulf, radar stations near Bahrain, oil infrastructure, Iranian-backed groups claiming responsibility on Telegram like they were dropping mixtapes.
So Iran was fighting a two-front war? That's like playing a fighting game and landing combos on two different opponents simultaneously.
The perfect analogy I heard. The US was guarding the front door while Iran came through the back window. All eyes were on Israel, but Iran made sure America felt consequences too. No American soldiers died, but it exposed how stretched thin the US presence is.
Iran basically said, "Oh, you want to help Israel? Cool, but we're touching some of your stuff too."
And it worked. US officials who were gung-ho about supporting Israel suddenly started talking about proportional response and de-escalation. Nothing like getting your own assets hit to reconsider your strategy. Iran nerfed America's enthusiasm without starting a full war. Picture this. It's midnight in Tel Aviv. This city that never sleeps, the economic heart of Israel, suddenly sounds like a war zone. Iranian missiles striking near the defense ministry, fires breaking out, hospitals overwhelmed.
That's bringing the war to Israel's front door. Iran said, "You hit our stuff? Now we're hitting your capital."
The raw footage was surreal. This ultra-modern city with startups and beach clubs, suddenly there's smoke rising like a dystopian movie. Social media showed everything in real time, no censorship, just people with phones showing what war looks like in your neighborhood. I saw this woman calling her mom with fire in the background trying to stay calm. "Mom, I'm okay, but Tel Aviv is not okay right now." That's when it hit different. Underneath all the memes, these are real people trying to survive.
Iran's message was crystal clear.
Maximum escalation achieved. You hit our nuclear facilities? Cool. Now we're hitting your capital. But amid the chaos, you saw neighbors helping neighbors, strangers helping strangers. Reminded you these are just humans trying to look out for each other. After 11 days of chaos, Trump and Qatar somehow brokered a ceasefire on June 24th.
Wait, Qatar got involved? Did they get friendly fired?
Haha, Qatar got hit by some Iranian missiles while trying to negotiate peace. Iran was like, "Oops, Sorry, you were standing too close to the target. And by ceasefire, we mean the world's most fragile timeout. Iran agreed to pause strikes. Israel reluctantly stood down. Everyone held their breath. But literally hours later, Israeli jets hit Tehran radar installations. And Trump's back on Truth Social. Don't drop those bombs.
So the peace lasted about as long as a TikTok video? That's not resolution. That's a loading screen for round 2.
That's exactly where we are. Nobody's put away their weapons. It's like two people in a fight who got pulled apart but are still staring each other down. Iran proved something major. Israel's defense stats were inflated. Trump became their intel leak, and they hit both Israeli and US assets while looking like the one responding to aggression.
So Iran speedran debuffing 2 superpowers in 11 days? That's both terrifying and impressive.
Haha. The question isn't whether this is over. It's when round 2 starts. Iran proved you can talk softly and carry a big boomstick. They exposed that billion-dollar defense systems can fail. Social media can accidentally prevent wars. And sometimes the best military strategy is just being really prepared, or at least reading Trump's tweets.
What do you think happens next? Drop your predictions in the comments.
And let us know, are Trump's tweets secretly keeping the peace or making everything more chaotic? Hit that subscribe button if you want to see us break down more geopolitical boss battles. Peace out, everyone. Try to look alive till we return.